What would you do if the world told you no 30 times? For most people, rejection kills the dream. But for one man, rejection was the fuel that lit the fire of one of the most successful writing careers in history. A stack of rejection letters sat piled high on the small desk. Each one carried the same message: not for us. Frustrated, crumpled the first draft of his new manuscript and tossed it into the trash. He muttered to himself, "No one's ever going to read this." But what he didn't know was that his wife would fish that manuscript out of the bin, and the story of a bullied girl with terrifying powers would change literature forever. Want to know who that person is? Let's dive into the amazing story. Stephen King grew up in poverty in Durham, Maine. His father left when he was a toddler, leaving his mother to raise Stephen and his brother on her own. From a young age, Stephen loved stories. He devoured comic books, horror tales, and movies. But his passion wasn't just consuming stories, it was creating them. By the time he was in high school, he was writing short stories and selling them to his classmates for pocket change. But the world outside his small town wasn't as kind. Every story he submitted to magazines was returned with a rejection slip. After graduating from the University of Maine, Stephen took odd jobs to support himself and his wife, Tabitha. He worked as a janitor, a laborer at a laundry, and even as a teacher. Money was always short. Their small trailer often felt cramped and cold. Bills piled up, and rejection letters only made the burden heavier. Still, King wrote every day, hammering away at an old typewriter, chasing a dream that seemed more distant with each passing month. One day, he started writing a story about a lonely teenage girl with unusual powers, but he doubted it. He thought, "I don't know anything about teenage girls. This story is going nowhere." Frustrated, he crumpled up the first few pages and threw them in the trash. That's when Tabitha stepped in. She pulled the pages out, smoothed them flat, and read them. She told Stephen, "This is good, really good. Keep going. I want to know what happens next." Her encouragement reignited his determination. Without that moment, Carrie might never have existed. Stephen poured himself into the story. Page after page, night after night, he wrote. The story grew darker, stranger, and more powerful. Finally, he finished Carrie, his first full-length novel. With hope in his heart, he mailed it off to publishers. Then came the rejections. One rejection, then another, then 10, then 20. By the 30th rejection, King was crushed. The notes were always the same. Not right for us, not marketable, too strange. He began to believe they were right. Maybe his dream was foolish. Maybe he wasn't meant to be a novelist. He even considered giving up writing altogether. The financial pressure made things worse. He and Tabitha were living paycheck to paycheck, sometimes unable to afford basic necessities. Stephen questioned himself constantly. Am I wasting my time? Should I just settle for teaching and forget about writing? But something inside him refused to let go. Every rejection hurt, but every day he still sat at his typewriter. Finally, in 1973, after countless rejections, Carrie was accepted by Doubleday Publishing. The advance was modest, just $2,500, but it was enough to spark hope. Still, Stephen worried. Would anyone actually buy the book? Then came the phone call that changed everything. A paperback company bought the rights to Carrie for $400,000, a life-changing sum for the struggling couple. Stephen remembered dropping the phone and telling Tabitha, "You're not going to believe this." The boy who once doubted his own words had just become a published author, and now a wealthy one. When Carrie hit the shelves, it exploded in popularity. Readers were captivated by the haunting tale of a bullied outcast who unleashed terrifying powers. The novel became a bestseller, sold millions of copies, and was adapted into a successful film. Stephen King had arrived. Despite the success, King never forgot those rejections. He famously kept every rejection slip pinned to a nail on his wall, a reminder of the struggle. And he never forgot the night he tried to throw Carrie away, only for his wife to save it. "Tabby believed in me when I didn't believe in myself," King later said. Stephen King's story isn't just about horror novels, it's about persistence. Rejection doesn't mean failure. 30 publishers said no, but the 31st said yes. Support matters. Without Tabitha, Carrie might never have been finished. Keep writing, keep trying, keep going. As King himself put it, amateurs sit and wait for inspiration. The rest of us just get up and go to work. So, here's the question. How many no's will you take before you quit? Stephen King took 30 rejections. What if he had stopped at 29? Don't let rejection end your dream. Let it shape you. Let it fuel you. Because sometimes your breakthrough is just one step beyond your breaking point. Today, Stephen King is one of the most successful authors in history, with over 60 novels, 200 short stories, and more than 350 million copies sold. But his empire began with a crumpled draft in the trash can and a wife who believed. Every time you see Carrie on a bookshelf, remember, it was once considered unpublishable. And yet, it changed literature forever.